Best weekend of Premier League football that I've ever seen. In my 24 years of watching football, that's the best I can remember. Arsenal winning dramatically in the best way possible in the last kick of the game from one of our own, our academy graduate, someone who was the forgotten man in the last minute winner and coming off the bench and having a great cameo. Manchester United, the team that I despise the most, losing and being humbled in the most emphatic way. And of course, our local rivals, Spurs, losing to Wolves. Guys, this is the Premier League review show. We're going to go through all the big talking points and much more in this show. So let's get ready, people, and like the video as we get through the intro. Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well, because I certainly am. And we've got Super Mick Arteta. He knows exactly what we need, guys. As you can imagine, I'm on top of the world, just like how Arsenal are on top of the Premier League. 5 points clear still to this day, although it didn't look like that 28 hours ago, something like that. And this is my match reaction to that game in particular and all the others that have affected the Premier League as we're going to get into it. So people, the emotion of it. I was almost in tears. I watched that second half, the whole of the second half with my mother. Big up Mama G in the building. You know, if you're a long-time subscriber, you'd have seen her in the comments and seen her on streams and that. She's not a massive football fan, and the reason why she doesn't, because she feels the stress when Arsenal play, whenever her team plays, and that stress wasn't good. I got a cap on, because I've lost a few hairs on top of my head because of watching that Arsenal game up against Bournemouth in a game when you was entering in and going into it. Should be a formality with the form that we're in. Just smashed Everton up against a team that's even below Everton at home, 3 o'clock Saturday. Goal should be an easy 3 points. We all guess 3s, 4s, 5s, nils at that. But then Arsenal in 9.11 seconds concede with a goal through Philip Billing. And I didn't even see that. I didn't even manage to catch it as I was loading up the TV as I was, because I'm watching it. I was watching the game. Yep, you know what I mean, guys. So I didn't even get to catch it as I was missed that. I just see a message in the group chat. It's from Martin in particular, and he says Arsenal, and I'm like, oh, what? Have we started the game? Have we started the game fast? And then the notification pops through my phone that it's 1-0. So the game literally switches on after that, and I managed to catch the rest of it. I'm like, okay, I need to see how this goal was scored. I saw how it was scored. We'll get into the specifics of it later. And then Arsenal continue, we build, and then we dominate the game. We create some chances. We create a chance literally straight after that. Ødegaard has a shot saved. Saka should really score from the distance that he's at, and scored earlier in the week with his right foot. An excellent finish past Jordan Pickford. But I'm like, still a lot of time. I'm not feeling as anxious. I'm like, we'll score soon. It will be one of them. We still might win 3-4-1, etc., especially with how the game was panning out and I was setting up. Then it's going into half-time. We're looking a bit impatient, and Bournemouth are getting plenty of chances on the break and looking to cause us problems left, right, and centre. Solanke was a problem all day. They even get a huge chance. I'm not sure if it was onside, but it was Philip Billing and Solanke that worked it well. Solanke takes it up the pitch, plays it into Philip Billing, plays it across Dango Ouattara. Massive save by Ramsdale. And this was about 20 to 30 minutes in the second half. That's when I started to panic. And into the first half, sorry. And that's when I started to panic, because I thought, we are dominating the game. We're not really creating anything of note at this point, but they look really dangerous on the break. Solanke is causing problems. Our defenders aren't alert. We're not as awake as we were against Everton. Even that game, we didn't start particularly well, but we defended excellently throughout. And I was starting to get worried. And I was like, you know what? This could go 2-0. And then it's time to panic then. Second half starts, makes a substitution. Well, Trossard gets injured, in fact. I'm like, okay, Emil Smith-Rowe comes on. I'm like, you know what? There's always a silver lining, isn't there? And Trossard's injured, missing him, and he's playing well. We haven't really got a centre forward, but Emil Smith-Rowe's got back into the team, and we're going to be getting Gabriel Jesus soon, and Nketiah's injury that we know isn't going to be too bad. So maybe he might be fit for the Sporting game, and we get one player out, two coming in, thinking we're able to manage these injuries a little bit more now. Second half starts. We'll get into all the controversy as well, of course, but it's Ben White. He's come on for Tomiyasu. I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes. 10 minutes in, they get one corner and they score. That's it. I'm like, here we go. Phone, can't look at my phone. Phone's away. Do not disturb, all of that. Whilst I'm watching the game, me and my mum are like, nah, this is it. We're not going to do it. I wish I was able to live stream this game, and it would have been great to have a watch along with my mum, because she was feeling every emotion with me. I'm there. I'm going, we're not going to do this today. It's just not going to be our day. We're going to go 2 points ahead. We're still going to be ahead of Manchester City by 2 points, with them still to play, and so much football. I'm feeling, oh my words. This team, they will keep going. They won't give up. I know that, but it just feels like it wasn't going our way. We continue to keep pressing for that goal. And we had a few set pieces. We tried short ones that weren't quite working out. We tried crossing it in. They were getting close. We was missing handballs left, right, and centre. VAR wasn't giving us anything, or the referee wasn't giving us any of them. With 4 potential penalty shouts. Whether you think they're a penalty or not, we'll get into them as well, of course, don't worry. And we'll go into even more detail on the Arsenal game tomorrow with the Arsenal show, when we get, our famous panel of guests that we always get, the famous, but yeah, the famous within the Tereak Talks community. So yeah, I'm really starting to worry now. Thomas Partey, big goal. As soon as he scored that one to half the deficit, I then believe, we've got enough time. My heart is increasing. My heart rate's increasing. I cheered it. Come on, screamed, but not too loud, not too long. Get that ball, take it back to the halfway line. Shortly after, Benjamin White grabs his first Arsenal goal. But before that, Reiss Nelson came onto the pitch. I know I'm jumping ahead and then going back a little bit, because it's just I'm reliving all the emotion. I've still not been able to process it, guys. Still, that's why the chronological order is not quite there. I'm still feeling it, the effects as well. So when Reiss Nelson came on, and it was for Emil Smith-Rowe, I actually thought Emil Smith-Rowe was having a decent game. I understood why he would take Smith-Rowe off, because he came on so early, 20 minutes in. I think that Smith-Rowe came in for Trossard, and he took him off in about the 67th minute. And I'm like, I understand why you're taking off Smith-Rowe, but for Reiss Nelson, really? I'm like, no. I'm being honest, and this is my total honesty, and my mum can vouch for this. I said, this isn't it, man. Why Reiss Nelson? I don't think that he's going to be able to bring it on and come on and affect this game to how we want him to do in these tight spaces. I think we needed a bit more ingenuity, maybe a bit more physicality, with a Granit Xhaka being brought on into the box, and his late runs could possibly score a header. As we tried to whip the ball in so many times and got into so many crossing opportunities, I thought, yeah, maybe stick Vieira out on the left and try something, or even a Tierney. I thought this was a Tierney game where we needed someone, as we could get flood and numbers into the box, and he could just whip him in, because there was allowing the space out there. And I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. Mikel Arteta, I love him. I trust the manager. He whips it into Benjamin White. I'm like, okay, he's looking sharp. Benjamin White scored his first goal. We're going to win this now. Keep going. I'm like, we're still not scoring this goal. Plenty more shots, raining him on goal, defending deep, defending for their lives, nearly scoring own goals, Bournemouth. Later, as the game goes on, that belief of us winning begins to drop. And it's just going, it went from its peak level to when I thought we're definitely going to win this game, all the way down. And it kind of flatlined, and it was done when Zinchenko tried to cross that ball, took a massive deflection and went out for a corner. My emotion was like, yeah, this isn't it now. That's the last opportunity. I know we got this opportunity, but we're not going to score with this last one, are we? And my word, when Reece Nelson took that ball from his right foot, shifted it onto his left, and had the perfect strike with his weaker foot, Reece Nelson's left foot should go down in Arsenal history. He should have a statue of his left foot in the stadium, outside the stadium, if we win this Premier League. My words, I nearly cried. Guys, I haven't. The last time I came this close, the last time I cried at football was when Arsenal won the FA Cup against Chelsea, when Ramsey scored that winner and we won 2-1, Arsene Wenger's last trophy at Arsenal. That's the last time I cried. So was that 2017? Fast forward 5 years later, almost. Didn't quite get to tears. I nearly broke down. I didn't know what to do with that emotion. That is the best game we have seen at the Emirates. Everyone who was there, everybody who was there says they never heard a noise like it. And it was for Bournemouth, by the way, who credit to them. Excellent in their game plan. And it worked out to a T in how they scored their first goal, how they scored from their set piece. And we'll analyze it and we'll break it down even more tomorrow, guys. I promise you that with the Arsenal show, because we still got so much football we need to speak about. And I just didn't know how to. I was speechless. I just screamed. I nearly lost my voice. I was going out afterwards. That's why I wasn't able to bring you the match reaction or this reaction straight away. So thank you for your patience, guys. I really do appreciate that. And I never experienced anything like that emotion ever. The closest was probably Arsenal versus Leicester, when I thought we was going to win the league. Then I thought, this is massive. This shows so much about how this team does not give up. The spirit, the belief, everything around this club is completely different. I have never seen an Arsenal like this. I wasn't fortunate enough, guys, to be around or remember or be old enough to remember us being invincible and having those best periods there with Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Robert Pires, Sol Campbell, Kolo Touré, Laurent, Ashley Cole, Lehman. I wasn't there for that team, or I wasn't able to remember it. So I've done my, being a massive gooner that I am, I obviously watched a lot of those videos and I shared those moments and I kind of felt it and I put myself there, and it was amazing. And I'm proud of that history. I'm proud of the history that we have and the quality that we've had in the players that have represented our club and wore this crest on the front. And as Tony Adams says, they played for the crest on the front, the badge on the front, and we remember the names on the back because of those players. And this group of players, no matter what happens, I will always love them and remember them for how they give and how they work. I know, and I say no matter what happens, because they will give absolutely everything for this. And as Arsenal fans, that's the least I can ask for. If we're not quite good enough to win the trophy and bring it home, it will be hurt. We'll be devastated. But the one thing that we ask of our players is to represent this club in the right way and in a way that we love it. And they have been classy in every single time they pulled on this shirt. And this is why we feel so connected. This is why when we're 2-0 down to Bournemouth, guys, 2-0 down to Bournemouth, the fans are there cheering and saying, come on. You can hear it through the TV, the how behind we are, this team. And with so much negativity that's been around this club in the recent years and just a year ago, and let alone months ago, even a few games ago, right? And to think that we've come so far in a relatively short space of time, where we was in that period for 20 years or so, is unbelievable. And I cannot fathom how good of a job everyone has done at that club at this moment in time to turn it around. Even those who made mistakes, like Kroenke, like the Kroenkes, like Mikel Arteta made mistakes, Edu, but what we now know and what we now see is that it has been every decision that they've made, whether it's right or wrong, has been for the love of the club. In all honesty, guys, and that's what we can see right now. And they might not make right decisions going into it. We may lose it, and we may be criticizing Arteta for certain things, and I'll be doing it as well. But there's one thing I will never criticize is the heart that they show and how and the passion. We you know, as it kind of gets mocked by fans, by rivals, and by fans in general, that more passion merchants, this, that, and the other. Excuse me. You can have the best players in terms of the ability in the world. You can have in every position, like a lot of Man United fans were saying. We got the best this, we got the best that. But if they don't care about that as much as they should, or more than anyone other than other teams care about the badge on the front, you're never going to succeed, unfortunately. And this is why we are where we are, because of the belief, the love, and the mentality of this group of players at such young ages. The manager is if we win this league, I know I'm jumping ahead. If we win this league, we'll be the youngest manager ever to win the Premier League. I don't know if it's the youngest squad ever to win the Premier League. I'm pretty confident it will be. Let someone let me know in the comments as we get into them shortly. But I am so in love with this club right now, and I've never felt this connected or to this club ever before. And that win was perfect. It was horrible, but it was perfect. It was amazing. And I want to get into some comments because I've got plenty of you before we get into the other big talking points of this weekend. So big up my brother Paxton, who is a Manchester United fan, as you can see right here. Big up yourself, my brother. And I see the little dig there, though. But I appreciate you for tuning in. And you know what, being here, and because it's tough in these moments, and we'll certainly get into the details of it. I'll keep your comment there. Big up G Staffy. I hope you're keeping good. Big up my brother. Is T going to be as late as Reece Nelson's winner? I wasn't indeed, but big up me. Exactly. Oh man. Was it going to be as unexpected as Reece Nelson's winner? Is this stream as unexpected? Nah, I did tell you I was going to bring it. Big up yourself, Amy. Good afternoon, she says. So bad I missed work. I'm so bad I missed the game because of work. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Tezzy, mate, in the building. I hope you're keeping good. What a weekend. Roller coaster. Or as Arteta says, roller coaster of emotions. He does indeed. Ilias in the place saying Liverpool are back. Big up my brother Ilias right there. Hope you're keeping good. Shocked that Rashford didn't get a goal. 9 seconds, really. Yeah, we conceded in 9 seconds with a well worked goal from Philip Billing. Arsenal will talk about in depth the tactical parts and what we should have done better tomorrow. I will for sure. I promise you. Yovraj in the building. I am buzzing, and I still will be until the Bournemouth game. And United fans really deserve this. They thought they were back and would destroy us at Anfield. Love the tears of United fans. Can't disagree with you right there. And I totally understand why you feel like that, my brother Yovraj. Big up yourself with that massive victory. Title winning moments. I will say it again, says Pax. I remember the 8-2 and the 6-1 Paxton. And all the other times we've been battered. But unless Arsenal are the ones handing out these batterings, I can't banter United fans too much. And no, we certainly can. Luke, I'm sure you've received a lot of bantering from when we lost 6-0 to Chelsea, from United fans when we lost 5-1 to Liverpool, and how many occasions that we've done that. You certainly can. This is football. We can certainly do it. And yeah, they'll have to take it. Do you know what I mean? Big up my brother Moss in this place. Just seeing this shirt somewhere. Yup Pax was saying it live on Goal Rush that it's a title-winning moment. Let's hope it is. Let's hope and pray that it is. I'm not confirming and saying, yep, that's definitely the title-winning moment, because there's still so much football to play. Big up my brother Shay in the building. I'm going to do the Arsenal show tomorrow, Shay. So if you're free, I'm going to make it a call-in one so that we can all join in as well and talk about this wonderful moment. So that is to anyone in here as well. Tomorrow night call-in show, Arsenal show. We're going to be talking about Arsenal predominantly. But if you want to come on and if you're a rival fan and you want to speak about Arsenal and speak about your club as well, feel free to do so. It will be an Arsenal one. So, yeah, feel free. And I will do a call-in show because I know Yuvraj as well. He's been asking me as well. And you know what? I want to meet you as well, Yuvraj. I want to meet plenty more of you that have been watching and show appreciation, and so we can have discussion about your club, about the Premier League, about the Champions League, anything, absolutely anything. I promise that I will bring that one to you next week. I will bring a call-in show, which will be a Premier League one. Not yet to confirm when it will be, but I will bring in a call-in show. So, yeah, stay tuned, guys. Follow me on the socials, on Instagram, Twitter, and, yeah, I'll release more details about this call-in show as and when. So, definitely, indeed. So, stay tuned this week. Whether you can join tomorrow or later on in the week, Shay, the choice is yours, my brother. I blame it all on Shay cursing Liverpool 5-0, predicting. He did it. Shay predicted a 5-0. Big up yourself. Shay was the closest with this one. You know what, Ed, if you're watching, Shay, give Shay 3 points. I know it wasn't quite that. He's the only one that predicted anything close to that. So he deserves the 3 points for that. They got in behind so many times, winning like we did. Can paper over the cracks. We cannot defend like that again. Luke, yes, you're right in terms of that. I can't disagree. But in the Premier League and in title races, you're not going to be at your best every single week. And how many times, Luke, especially at this point in the season, have we seen Manchester City win the league and do things exactly like this against Bournemouth when they got their 100 points? Raheem Sterling slapped one in the 97th minute against Aston Villa in the very last game of the season, where they were 2-0 down against Aston Villa, who had nothing to play for and were poor. Steven Gerrard ended up getting sacked. You will have moments like this, and it will be a problem if we continue to keep doing it on a consistent basis. But I'm sure we're going to have more games like this when we don't expect it, when we're at home against a Leeds or maybe a Crystal Palace. I'm saying, but hopefully not that again because it's too soon. But we will have these moments, and we're still going to have to ride out and keep going. Manchester United, they're legends. They're the Premier League team that do this, and they set the example. They weren't the best technically. They weren't the best technical side, but the reason why they won so many Premier Leagues is because they never gave up. Their fans knew, their manager knew, and their players knew as well. And that's why you have to that's why you have to take moments like that. And yes, you're right in terms of the tactical parts, and we will speak about that tomorrow. But whilst it is still quite fresh, you have to look at it and say, this is special. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine this in being in these situations last season. We won one game. Look, we won one, and this is not just Luke, this is everyone. We won one game last season, right? From being behind. That was when, thankfully, I was watching it with my brother Ed. That's the one game we were behind and we won. Massive change in this Arsenal team and a mentality. And a lot of these players are still here. We've got rid of quite a few, and we've brought in monsters. I'm saying mentality monsters. I know that's Grizz. I know that's Grizz's saying, but that's what I feel like at the moment. It's crazy how they do not give up. Aston Villa, Manchester United, and Bournemouth, 3 different teams as well, different scenarios, away from home, at home, against a solid side. At that point, Manchester United were. So massive for confidence and belief, indeed. Big up the Arsenal ladies as well. The Continental Cup, another sign of how the club is different. Not just the men's team, the whole club being behind, never giving up in a difficult season as well, by the way. Losing our 2 best players in Beth Mead and Vivian Miedema as well, to come back and show character and fight and win the trophy. I want the trophy. As Mikel Arteta says, when I see the trophy, I want the trophy. What amazing. Reese Legend says, Moss, indeed. Good evening to Mr. and Mrs. Wesbird in the place. Mrs. Wesbird says, evening, Mr. T, and all you gorgeous people. Evening all, indeed. Haaland winners, exactly. T and his Xhaka agenda. Hey, no. Xhaka deserved to be dropped, in my opinion, Pax. He deserved to be dropped, and Fabio Vieira definitely deserved to start. I dropped it in the Discord server, and I spoke about it previously when when Thomas Partey returns to this team, I wanted Xhaka to be dropped onto the bench. And for Fabio Vieira, I understood why he kept him because of the physicality perspective from defending set pieces. Bearing in mind, it was Thomas Partey's fault for their second goal, by the way. But he was still immense yesterday, and he probably was the man of the match. Oh, Reece Nelson's going to get it, of course, and I can understand that. But yeah, he was probably the best player for Arsenal yesterday. Don't stop believing. Great song once said exactly. They don't stop believing. And let me see. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing these guys as well. Big up my vibes in the cut as well. Listen to him right there. Drop a like for the main man, Tereak. We'll get into other games as well. I want to hear what the other Arsenal fans are saying. I ran around the whole house screaming, then crying. I'll try it again as I didn't make it into Get Amped. Oh, big up yourself, my man. Can anyone tell me the name of the film? Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Spacey. Seven. Oh, what a film that is, by the way. What a film Seven is. I love that film. Oh, big up my brother right there. It is Seven, indeed. I should have saved that until we moved on into that game, but we'll break it up. Yeah, United fans, help me out. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. It's a great film, and I can see that there. Brilliant movie, says Wesbird. Those teams didn't really score last-minute winners, though, Tereak. We've had quite a few already this season. Absolutely. Nah. Luke, they certainly did, man. They certainly did. As I just brought up those moments there, Raheem Sterling scored a last-minute winner against Bournemouth away from home. Didn't Manchester City score last-minute winners this season against Fulham, for example? I'm thinking of Man United. I remember Chicharito. I remember 4-3s in the last minute. It happens plenty of them. Yeah, all the time. I'm sure, even though those fans will be able to give us plenty of those as well. I gave you, the 2-0 down, 3-2. Other games Manchester City certainly have. Manchester City have gone to I've scored 0 goals at Crystal Palace and still won leagues as well. So, it definitely happens. It definitely does happen a lot. The Invincibles team tended to go 2-0 up and cruise. It was different gravy. I think also the competitiveness of the league was different as well, though, there, bro. The league wasn't as strong back then as you got now. Look, we got internationals playing for Bournemouth. Do you know what I mean? You got Neto, Brazilian international goalkeeper, playing for Bournemouth, who were bottom of the league and then thing there. Do you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have that in the Premier League, them lower league teams. Having top international players. Mr. T, the days of Henri, Vieira, Pierre, Overmars, Freddie, etc. unreal. We used to destroy a team's confidence in the tunnel going out into the pitch. Yep, it's true. It's true. We did do that, and I feel we do that a lot as well. Exactly. Let's see what anyone else has said before we get it. Oh, Yuvraj, he's dropped a comment in here. Arsenal really show champion mentality. You just have to give credit to even if you're a rival, and the media just hates Arsenal. They always find something to go against against them, like they never give credit. Indeed. Crude Oil FC, big up my brother Kendall, can turn fossil courtesy of Arsenal. Oh, we'll see. Big up. Hey, Wilson here. Suck my little bro in the TTF. We are the Arsenal. I love my Arsenal indeed. True. Paxton says, true, but what I've seen from those players today leaves me in anguish. Talking about Man United. We'll get into that as well, people. I was talking about the Invincibles not really scoring last minute winners. I hear that. Yeah, league's different now back then. The league is different now, Luke. Yeah, you are right. We didn't really, because we controlled teams, as you said, at that point. But Manchester United, who won more Premier League titles than we did, even on our best period, they scored a lot of them. So you need that type of mentality, don't you? And I hate to say it, I don't want to give them credit, especially on a day like today. But that's why they won so many. I said it in Get Amped. We were a better team than them. Gary Neville spoken about it. Technically, they couldn't get close to us. They weren't at that level in terms of that, or even the individual players that we had. But the one thing they had to, and they stuck together with that mentality, and that's why they won so much. And that's what I want to see from Arsenal now. I want us to see, even when we're not having our greatest of games or greatest of times or greatest of periods, I don't want to see free flowing tap, tap, tap. We saw that, and whenever we had weakness in mentality, we used to get smacked. and we wouldn't win leagues and when we should have done. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that Arsenal don't have a Champions League is crazy, given how good that we have been in periods, and in that 2006 period when we lost to Chelsea in the Champions League, was that 2000? That was the invincible season. Can't believe, like, watching back at it and looking back, I'm like, you guys who would have experienced it, you're like, oh my days, how did we not do that? Like, we were much better. That was our biggest opportunity. But if you don't have that mentality, like, I'm not questioning them, but if you don't, when the time gets tough, really go in there and do it like this team are showing. It's hard to win them cup competitions. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the league's different now, and it's very, very competitive, and we're top of it, man. Can you believe it? So early into this team's, this birth, really, to this squad, because a lot of our key players are still so young. But we'll get into more of the Arsenal talk tomorrow, people, for sure, because we have to talk about. I'm sorry, we have to. It's not on this screen right now, but we have to. Liverpool 7, Manchester United 0. Man United fans, don't leave. Please don't leave. It says the connection's dropping, because I want to talk about this. And this game, it wasn't even a great. It was good, very good, but it's not a great Liverpool performance. It weren't. It honestly weren't. As a whole team, that first half, Man United looked threatening. That first half, Man United looked like they were going to score the first goal. But the capitulation from Manchester United is absolutely disgusting. To lose at Anfield is not the embarrassing part. Anyone can lose to Anfield. You was hearing me before when people were saying, man, this ain't the same Liverpool team. Rare-tear-tear. I said this on the show. I've seen there's worse Liverpool teams that have been able to get results against Manchester United because of Anfield and then what it is. And there's been better Manchester United teams that have rocked up to Anfield and still not been able to win. Manchester United haven't scored a Premier League goal at Anfield since Jesse Lingard in a 3-1 defeat under Jose Mourinho. Guys, the stats are there. Man United haven't won a game. Haven't won in 8 games now. It was 7 before, and 7's a big number now, and 7's the number we're going to be speaking about the most. But to be think about it now, in 8 games and be so confident of a win. It's naive. It's naive for the fans to do that. But for the players to put that second half display from every single player, every single person who's wearing that Manchester United shirt is a disgrace to your club, and a disgrace. Do you know why? Because this isn't a young team. This isn't a young Manchester United team. You've got Champions League winners in there. Not all United fans, level-headed ones, right? Level-headed ones are calm. Paxton, like in the chat, respect our brothers Paxton and Knowles. They're level-headed. But those the ones who tell me they got the best goalkeeper, you got the best centre backs, you got the best midfielder, you got the best left winger, you got the best that. Yeah. No. The best do not behave like that ever. No matter who, in a game against Liverpool, your arch rivals, your biggest rivals ever. Could you, guys, we've Arsenal fans, we've held 6s, we've held 8-2s, etc. We've held it to Manchester United teams that we hate the most. Context added in that. We had Ignacy Mikel at left back, a young Francis Coquelin in midfield, Carl Jenkinson, then man, Justin Hoyts in when we lost 4-0, etc. And terrible players, Andre Santos, etc. You know the players that we couldn't stand and we couldn't wait for our club to move on from, and the mistakes. But we never lauded these players as the best and talked about them in such high esteem. That's why it's disgusting. And the experience that they're going to go through now, this could be way more damaging than people think at the moment. And this is what I'm looking at. How these defeats affected us for the remainder of our seasons. Remember it, Arsenal fans. Remember how it used to affect us. We'd be going in such good runs, and we'd be going to these away teams who aren't even performing at their best. And we'd be like, you know what? We've been in a good run of form. We've beaten the teams that we're meant to be. We did that a lot. That's how we finished in the top 4 under Arsene Wenger a lot of the times. That's why he deserves tremendous credit for that. But how many times did we go through and go through that and then get absolutely slapped and our season would capitulate from there? It's a shambles. It's shambolic. I'm seeing some of the words in here. Disgusting. Bruno Fernandes. I won't be surprised if I won't be surprised if he leaves Manchester United in the summer and Erik ten Hag gets rid of him, because the attitude he showed today. Nah, performances, guys. Listen, Man United fans, performances, they can happen. You can put in bad performances, and you can get turned over, and and Anfield is a difficult place to go. 2-3-0, that can happen. But to act like that, to show that attitude, I'm getting angry at this, and I'm an Arsenal fan. Shouldn't wear the Man United shirt again. Shouldn't be allowed, but he will, because he's got to. Erik ten Hag is, he'll be cutting off his nose to spite his face for the rest of his season. But he will know now who he don't want. He will know who's not on his boat for the long term. He will look at today and he'll look at other games, your 6-3s, your 4-0s against Brentford, etc., even your 3-1s against Aston Villa. And he will know, I know who I'm getting rid of now, or who's not going to be here in the long term. Give me the opportunity to sell, I'm getting rid of them right now. Trust me, there's certain players that you cannot build around, because you cannot fold like that. And when you're in the position that you're at, against Liverpool, who aren't even the Liverpool of old, and they've shown such vulnerability, and they did it in the first half as well, and they showed vulnerability then. And for you to capitulate like that, if a lot of these players remain the same, I am not worried about Manchester United. But the reason we are worried is because we know Erik ten Hag is ruthless, and we know that if he's given the tools and he's given the time and he's given the trust of the ownership, he will spot this. And he's a very smart and intelligent man, and he's very honest and well spoken, although he made errors, huge errors, and he deserves a lot of the blame as well today, because you can lose at Anfield, guys. You can, but you can't lose like that ever. Never ever. And it'd be interesting, and I want to get it through to Paxton's comments and everyone else's in this, because I thought Bruno disgusting. Who else? The fact that, do you know what? I want to bring this up. The fact that Bruno was throwing arms up at the bench and stuff. Whether he's suggesting that I should come off, or why you're taking such and such, whatever his things are. Hang on, what have you done in your career to ever question a manager? Ever? What have you done? Carabao Cup doesn't give you that right ever to do that, no matter what you win. When you've got Casemiro, 5-time Champions League winner on the pitch, with 4-time Champions League winner Varane, and even De Gea was a Premier League champion goalkeeper, to ever show that attitude and disgust is a sackable offence. It is, because performances you can learn from, but attitude will always remain the same. And he's not a young child. He's not a Garnacho who's immature. He's a big man who's experienced, who's wearing the captain's armband. Horrific. And this is why so many Manchester United fans don't trust Bruno, and don't, because they've seen it. The player's got quality. Bruno Fernandes, Mesut Ozil 2.0, but he's not even at the technical ability. Do you know why he's so similar? Mesut Ozil. What was Mesut Ozil's biggest problem, Arsenal fans? Away from home, didn't turn up in no big game. At home, he'd turn up in, he'd have some good games where you're like, yeah, he's special. Like Chelsea, I remember against Liverpool, for example, in a 3-3 draw, he was outstanding. Man United, etc. He was wonderful. But away from home, you can't rely on him. You had to shove him out to the wing, because you don't want him anywhere near the central area. Maybe that's why Erik ten Hag in terms of Bruno, shoved him out to the left wing. Maybe that's the reason. It's not the right decision, but that horrendous Bruno Fernandes. Anthony, disgusting. Bet £100 million, and he's behaving like that at a young age. Nah, These are the attitudes. This is the problem. I don't care about the performances because, like, think about Weghorst, shocking performance today. Fred, shocking performance, etc. And yes, they're a part of the team that caved in, so they will shoulder a lot of the blame in terms of that mentality. But there were certain individuals that I saw today, and I was like, don't know if you don't, Man United fans, you should never forget this. Like, in a way, like, it's not about forgiving, it's about forgetting. You should never forget this because they cannot go to your biggest rivals and do that. If they're capable of doing that to Liverpool, what are they going to do in a situation where, you know, there's a lot of pressure? You're against an Aston Villa maybe at home, and we'll see what happens then. You have to, you cannot forget that with these individuals, how they act like this, and why Anthony split opinions in the fan base, and why he has, because these, like, Bruno and Anthony run a lot. They do run a lot, but you got to question how they behave at points and why they've brought a little bit of, people will say agendas and whatnot, but why they brought a little bit of that, the questions, the doubt raising. And I just wanted to bring those two up in particular. I'm sure there's plenty more. Guys in the chat, let me know about that. But before we get into Manchester United comments, I want to talk about Liverpool to those Liverpool fans that are watching and say, my word, there was some great performance. I thought Andy Robertson was different gravy. And I'm worried for when we go to Anfield in 3 games' time, because the probably the best 1v1 defensive performance I saw of recent years against Saka was Andy Robertson last season in their 2-0 victory. Saka had no joy. Robertson was onto him like a rash. And when he gets that Anfield crowd and that energy behind him, he is a different animal. Andy Robertson, he was back to his brilliant best. Trent Alexander-Arnold's passes are out of this world as usual. Was looking susceptible defensively at some points, but he made a massive tackle against Rashford. I think offside was given in the end, but he was brilliant. Van Dijk was looking like his best as well. Ibrahim Konate, I understand why you guys talk about him in the same breath as Saliba. I see it. So the problem with him is just staying fit. But he's such a good centre-back with such athleticism, confidence, and ability as well. Like, reads the game ever so well. Should have scored as well, guys, by the way. He should have scored with that header in the box in the second half. Man, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Fabinho looking back to his best. How has Fabinho done this? He's done a Xhaka remontada. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of nowhere. And he's been poor, and people have been saying he's past it now. He's got too much mileage on his legs. We know he's not that old, but he looks like he's done too much, and he can't cope with it anymore. And his body just simply can't cope with it. But he was brilliant, I thought, today. And then Harvey Elliott, he was starting to show some more maturity into his game. And we know Harvey Elliott's got talent. I mean, the kid made his Premier League debut at 15, for goodness sakes. You know, you got talent when you can do that at Fulham. And he was so highly rated. But he was showing a lot of maturity in his decision-making, his timing of pass, the way he was dribbling and driving and getting into the half space. He was showing a very high level of not just the technical ability, but football IQ and understanding. And he's really developed a lot. Who else was in that midfield? Henderson was working hard on that left. And why Jurgen Klopp trusts him so much? Guys, even when you do question, as Liverpool fans, you question and you say, why is Henderson playing? Why does Klopp trust him so much? Because he knows what he's going to give you in these games when they're at their level, when they're even at a base level. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why he plays him so much. And then Cody Gakpo, Moss, you'll be certainly happy about this, because Cody Gakpo is received. I've been jury out on Cody Gakpo for sure. In that sense, not for Luke Shaw, but yeah, because I was kind of wondering. I thought Liverpool was the best fit for him personally in terms of his game, because it's a bit more chaotic and they're playing the transition a lot, which is what they've done a lot in PSV, and where he's got a lot of joy, and that's what they do a lot in the Eredivisie. So Liverpool's transition helps a lot, but I thought he was very good, and his technical ability, he's improving. He's improving a lot, game by game. Massive credit to him there. For Cody Gakpo in that one. Darwin Núñez scoring those big chances once again. That's been his biggest criticism, hasn't it, guys? With him, his biggest criticism is he's not finishing those chances. He's never going to be the prettiest on the eye. And I talked about Cody Gakpo's technical ability not being at the greatest, or his real understanding of, hold up play necessarily. but he's got a good movement and good understanding and a very good finishing ability in the box called the gap hole. Whereas Darwin Núñez looks chaotic, and he is chaos, and he scored those goals and he's shut the haters down. Massive performance. But Mohamed Salah, Salah. You keep doubting him, guys. You keep doubting him. You keep doing it because he'll keep proving you wrong. What a performance. Creativity, goal scoring ability, constant threat, the sharpness, the touch, everything. Beautiful. Absolute. He's the man of the weekend, Mohamed Salah. The Liverpool, I don't know, I've given a lot of praise to those players right there. But as a collective, they were much better. And this is why I'm worried when you go to Anfield. This is why Arteta does those crazy things. You know what I'm saying? When we're going to Anfield and people are taking a mick out of it. Oh, it's a different place. No matter what Liverpool team you're facing, they can turn it up like that. What happened in Madrid? It's an anomaly. What happened against Madrid? It's an anomaly. People talk about, no, but they lost to Leeds, so we can beat them. Leeds is an anomaly. Those are exceptions, not the rule. Okay, Anfield is a different place. No matter how bad this Liverpool team is, how they can get the fans can get them going and give them so much energy. I've seen Jay Spearing in midfield. Who is it? Andre Voronin. I've seen Marko Jovanovic, Paul Konchesky, etc. And they go and still beat big teams at home. Come on, man. So what do you expect from Trent, Robertson, Van Dijk, Fabinho, international players who've got trophies and Champions League medals to their name? They're going to step it up, guys. This is why it's a tough place and you don't go. And this is why you don't say, Arsenal won the league. Yeah, no. We still got to go to Anfield. We still got to go to the Etihad. And because of the points gap now, if we lose them too, and obviously if Man City got to win theirs too, that could possibly mean we're second. We could have 90 points, lads and ladies and gentlemen. We could have 90 points and still not win the league. Don't talk to me about bottle. We can bottle it in a way, but we don't say if we don't win the league, we've bottled it. Because it's not that great. It's not that simple. There's a lot of grey area. So be careful. We still got a lot of games to go. And Liverpool are a problem. Let me get into the chat before we get into the rest of the Premier League games and give every team a chat. And we'll talk about every team and what I've seen and hear some opinions from you guys as well. So for sure, let's get into it, people. Let me go into it here. Man United, because we started on that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Manchester United chat right here. Westbird said, sorry, Pax, look away now. Pathetic performance by Manchester United. Missed the match because of work. Good. If any Man United fans, yeah, it's good. But if you're an Arsenal fan, yeah, it was good. we enjoyed it, and I'm sorry that you didn't get to see it, Amy, for that case. Liverpool did a Snow White on Man United. Exactly, indeed. Eric Ten Hag is going to punish these lads, rightfully so, but we are going to be even more tired for Betis before international duty. Yeah, you know the rest. FFS. Bro, Pax, this is my question now, and this is what I asked it on Eagle Eye Football, and Brush responded, and he said no. He says, nah, he thinks we're going to be okay. But is this going to affect your top four now? Guys, mentally, think of the mental damage this is going to take on a lot of these players. I know a lot of you go, no, we should still get top four. We should still get it. Even if we have a downturn in form and we don't quite be at the level that we were previously, we should still get it. Do you know what I mean? We'll win enough games, etc. But Paxton brings up a brilliant point here. Tiredness. What did we experience at this stage last year, lads? It was tiredness, players dropping out with injury. Casemiro looked like he was playing with one leg. There was a lot of players out there. You better hope they're injured. I mean, not for the long term, but you better hope they were carrying a lot of players were carrying injuries out there, because otherwise that's even more of a worry in terms of the mentality of the players. You better hope there was more than just Casemiro playing injured. You best believe. So yeah, maybe that could be a factor. I'm thinking of tiredness and the blow that could be, but the main factor, the fatigue. could really play a part now because the amount of games that you've played, the amount. And you know what? Erik ten Hag's received a lot of praise for how he's approached every competition and how he's done it, and he's put a strong team, etc., etc. But really, real fans like Paxton, and this is why I said a real because he's so level-headed. And Paxton's always said, I don't like how strong that we've been going in certain games. Like, yes, I want to try and win every trophy, but there's got to be more rotation. Surely there's been other players that, Facundo Palestri that have not been given games. You've been running players down into the ground. Maybe Fernandez is, reason why he's having such a, mental breakdown today because of how taxing he's had and how much his work he's been having to do. Possibly so. Johannes CL would have been as 11v11. Good point in 2006. Jovraj, Manchester United underestimated Liverpool. Absolutely. And the key was, for me, was Gakpo scoring just before half time. Jovraj hits the nail on the head. And then the second went in and they were so poor and capitulated. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely agree with you there, Jovraj. That's how the game went. And that's how, because Man United could have scored the first goal and we could be talking about a different game here. We could be, and it would have played right into Manchester United's hands at that point. But the fact that you scored the first goal gave you that, all right, momentum and belief that Man United are going to have to come out at some point. But the fact that you got that second so quickly, that killed them. And it shouldn't have killed them like that. It should have killed the game and it should have been a boring spectacle from then. At the very least, with Man United trying to give it a goal, maybe conceding a third late on and losing 3-0, and you can be respectable in that sense, but not how they capitulated, indeed. As you said there, good point from Jovraj right there. This may bring more confidence for Salah now. Indeed, yeah, he's a confidence player, and he does score a lot of goals in batches as well, Amy. He does go on ridiculous runs of form. Good point. The one game we needed to turn up for, we didn't. I'd always take a win against Liverpool over Barcelona. Bruno, Watte, yeah, I agree with you on that. It is because of what is against Liverpool, because of the historical factors, because of what it means to the fans. The players know how important it is, so you can't lose a game like that. If we ever lost like that, I hated the 8-2 against you. That was one of the worst days of my life because we had to go to school like a few days later because it was towards the end of August and we started year 8 at that point, and it hurt, man. It hurt, but the context surrounding that was the squad was shocking. Like we had so many young players and stuff, but in not your best team because of injuries, of course. Eriksen's not being there, but it was the best team that you could have put out that was fit and available. And you were going into the game. If you'd have saw them team sheets, you wouldn't have said, "Yeah, we're losing." No, of course not. There was a lot of confidence. There was a lot, and rightfully so. But this is going to be massive. This is a real. This has really shown the mentality of the players because Erik ten Hag's done such a good job so far. Martinez was roasted today. Goodness, Ollie and Ralph Ragnick vibes. I've not spoke about Lisandro Martinez. That is disgusting. Kendo, once again, poor performances are fine. I can take them. You can still talk about being one of the best and still have poor performances. But to get what Lisandro done, the basics in defending, Mohamed, he's not even looking at bro. He's not even looking at Salah. You don't talk. Kendo, you're not one of them. But don't talk to me about best. Don't talk about best about this season. No, don't best about this season. No. Weren't even Manchester City, the last big game. Right, no, you won against Newcastle, but the big against a real team that could have caused you problems. Lisandro didn't even play. Luke Shaw was at centre back. Nah, sorry. I've seen it's too much now. It's too much. He's had a good first season, but don't say best. Let's not take it too far. Very good first season. I'm not rewriting history in that sense. But best. I disagreed with you then, so I'm definitely going to disagree with people who said best now. Do you know what I mean? Come on. Come off it. Man United give credit to the Glazers for getting Erik ten Hag. Yeah, they've not made many good decisions, but that's the thing, Amy, with the Glazers thing. They are a mess. They're horrible, etc., etc. But a lot of the players that they call the best that the Glazers have brought in and they brought the manager and trusted the manager to bring these players. I mean, the Manchester United fan base has been utterly shambolic for years and years. Pax spot on until you get that unity, that togetherness, and I'm not gloating, but it's what we have right now. We've got shocking aspects of it, but I love a lot of our fans, especially going to games and stuff. I love spending time with them, and I've been to two Arsenal games this season. I went one home and one away. I wasn't even sitting with the away fans, but it's linking up with them afterwards and chatting to them, and it's amazing. Love them, absolutely love the mentality of our fans as well nowadays. With a lot of them, the result was humbling indeed. Wilf, more than a humbling. Football is a humbler. When the going gets tough, Bruno wanted to give up. He doesn't have the heart of a champion. If you don't have the heart of a champion, get out of Manchester United. Get out of there. Get out of that club. That's not what they don't want. That they want champions. They want winners. There's a reason why they don't. He's not got the major trophies. He hasn't got them in his career. What, the Carabao Cup is probably his biggest trophy, right? Is it? Bruno Fernandes? I'm sure it probably Nations League. Give him the Nations League. You know what I mean? He can take that. There was no proper fight for the badge from most of the players. Garnacho was showing more passion. Exactly. We all wanted to believe in Bruno after Maguire as captain, but wow, how to destroy that instantly. What Bruno was benefited from, because it was Maguire was your captain. He was the one that took over from that. I mean, Pax, me and you could have took over from that, and we would have probably done better from that, the position that Maguire was in right then. And it's not disrespecting Maguire as a player, but in terms of everything that was surrounding him at that point, it was not a difficult job to take the captaincy off Maguire in that situation. But he ain't showing leadership in Manchester United. Mr. Wesberg says Man United goal difference +6, and they're top 4 at the moment. Mr. Wesberg, that was our issue last season as well. You don't get top 4 with them goal differences there, man. Man United, over-reliance on Rashford. That's what it is. Massive over-reliance. If he doesn't score the goals, is anyone else going to score the goals until he scores the first one? Possibly not. Do you know what I mean? They don't look like they got goals coming out left, right, and centre. So that might be their downfall. And when Rashford, if he picks up an injury or something like that, it's peak. Because then there'll be more players. Because he's one of the real hardest working, physically fit players that they've got. Do you know what I mean? So it will be a problem. Bruno should be a squad player. There's some value in the guy, but his personality is terrible. And in Kendall, that's the thing. And that's why his personality stinks so much. That's why it makes me so angry. Because when we talk about technically, he's not bad. He's got a very good shot on him. He's a very good goal scorer. He's got good movement into the box. He's got football IQ to a certain extent, when he's not giving it away left, right, and centre. But he's very good at playing a forward pass, very good in transition. He's probably the hardest player to stop in the Premier League in transition, in that sense. But when him and Rashford start connecting, his personality is disgusting, horrendous. I class Bruno in the same category as Ozil. No use when the chips are down. 100% agree with yourself there, Wilf. As it would be wise to sell Bruno age profile wise as well. Make a big chunk of profit. And whoever your owners are and whoever comes in, whether it is the Qataris or Glazers remain or Jim Ratcliffe that take over, you're going to need to start making some sales on players and flipping them and making decent profit, and then getting the right players in as well. Do you know what? This is the thing with Pogba. He split opinion a lot because he was quite similar to Ozil and Bruno in that sense, where they got the ability and you can't question that. You question how they apply it at times and how much of a negative they bring to the team when things aren't going so well. That's the common ground, and it's all players that are very talented on the ball. Bruno's probably not as talented as a Pogba or Ozil was in terms of what they could do with a football at their feet, but in that same type of category as Wilf was saying right there. Where was Wan-Bissaka? That's on Eric Ten Hag. Indeed, Amy. Wan-Bissaka came on against Newcastle last week, putting a stellar performance. Surely should have done the same today. Bruno will be gone now. He's upset. Eric Ten Hag, long as we don't sign him. Indeed, Mr. Westbird. Indeed, and you know what? Sadly, because I want Man United to do well, but sadly, I think that Eric Ten Hag is going to be more ruthless than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and we'll get rid of him as well. We were actually the better team with a 10. Against this is a UCL in terms of replying to Wilf right there. In Eric Ten Hag, we trust he will be cutthroat and get rid of the fraud. We need at least 2 mids now, though. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, the midfielder market is going to be mad in the summer because we need 2 midfielders, I'd say. Liverpool obviously need a rejuvenation right there. Manchester City are going to be looking for some midfielders when Gundogan leaves and whatnot. And that's just 3 clubs off the top of the head. I'm sure Chelsea will probably look at be in the market with some. Liverpool, Tottenham, they need some midfielders as well. Plenty. Let me go through a few more. I'm going to go through. We haven't really spoke about Liverpool so much, so let me go through them. Always liked Andy Robertson for Hull. Now can't stand him. Quality player. Indeed. Mr. Westbird, Firmino, quality player. Can't understand why they're letting him go. I think it's more about a fresh start, Westbird. I think that's what it is. I think it is all about him getting that fresh start and that new beginning. Bit similar to like Mane, because Mane was brilliant when he left, but things get a little bit stale, and that it's the right time to leave. In terms of playability, they shouldn't be letting him go. But yeah, and that's it, as Yvred says. Firmino wanted to leave, and he's getting that freshness and rejuvenation within the team. I understand. Big up my brother Rich, who was on Get Amped with him. Was on Get Amped with earlier as well. We'll certainly talk about Palace right here. So let me save this comment right here to my brother as we run through the other games ever so quickly. We're already an hour in, so we'll get into it. Mr. Joker in the place. Hope you're keeping well. Says, how's the Manty? Any suggestion for getting this Cheshire smile off my face after this weekend? Think about when we got to go to Anfield. Maybe that will probably put a bit of fear. Well, it won't put fear, but a little bit of, because you can't fear with this Arsenal team. If we're anything like anything like the players, we'll be fearless. But nah, enjoy it, man. Don't take that Cheshire smile off your face at all. Definitely. Keep that, and I don't know, man. I really don't know. Big up, Mr. Arsenal podcast, Ryan. Hope you're good. I'm free on the 7th at 7th in Tree. Yay, that's great, man. Is that on Tuesday? Thanks for letting me know, my brother. I'll get that into the plans right there. Got a duck out, love and peace, and hair grease at the TTF. Big up my brother right there. Chase Spearing, wow. We'll get into the other games. Liverpool fans, let me know your thoughts. Get in the comments, get in the live chat. Get chatting to each other as well. It should be interesting. But let's talk about now the other games. Let's talk about them briefly because I ain't got too long to go. I have to get ready for bed and I have to be quiet because my mom's got an early start tomorrow as well. So yeah, don't want to be shutting down the house too much. But guys, make sure you do smack a like on this video, people, on this stream. Really appreciate you all for joining right here. So we're going to go from chronological order for the rest of them. As you may see on the screen, Manchester City beat Newcastle by 2-0. Manchester City, once again, at this point in the season, it's just about getting the 3 points. They weren't brilliant. They weren't at their brilliant best. Newcastle was probably one of their most encouraging performances of late, who have been in a terrible run of form themselves, but they had plenty of chances in this one, more chances than they did in the Carabao Cup final to equalise or take the lead at some point. Joe Willock, he came on, he made a difference, but Isak and Alan St-Maximin, but mainly Isak and Willock that made a big contribution in the second half, but they had chances to score before that. Callum Wilson, Joel Linton, got to put the ball in the back of the net. Has to. Disgusting, not disgusting. That's probably, I've used that word too much, but yeah, when you play Manchester City firsthand, we can all say it as Arsenal fans. If you don't take your chances, they certainly will at the other end. Only in the odd games, it's more of once again, the exception rather than the rule when they have games where they don't put the ball in the back of the net. So yeah, Haaland with another assist. Bernardo Silva came off the bench, 120 seconds later, slaps it in. Foden is looking brilliant again, by the way. Foden's really performing, and massive credit to Jack Grealish too. I need to big up Jack Grealish because you know me, as if you're a long time subscriber to the channel, I'm not I'm not a massive fan of Jack Grealish, and I think he's overrated a lot of the time. But this is the best Jack Grealish that I've ever seen. I will say, in terms of how he's performing and how he's driving, he's got a little bit of bite to his game as well. He's looking annoying, like a player that you dislike, and that's what he needs to be a little bit more for me. And yeah, he's doing really well at the moment, Jack Grealish. We spoke about Arsenal already. Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0. And I saved Rich's comment here because I spoke to him on the phone earlier. Big up everyone in the chat. Go subscribe to Eagle Eye Football. Go check out their match reaction to this one as well, because it's getting dark over there. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans, because we need to keep an eye on Sam Bilkonga and, on Uncle Paddy himself. Vieira, he says, big up to everyone in the chat. Vieira looking very tactically inept, and that's a huge concern. I've given Crystal Palace a lot of grace at this points this season, because I'm like, he's still very early into his build at Crystal Palace, and I've said until he gets the players that he needs and that will suit him and be the image that he wants of him, and reflect the image of his team, I can't criticize him too much. But they do. There's a certain level that they can't drop below, and they are currently below that level right now, and his job is in danger. And it's a shame, because they were so good and so bright at the start. They were such a hard team to beat with Conor Gallagher in the midfield. Even when the Czech Kouyaté, now Decore is certainly an upgrade from a lot of the Palace fans are saying. And even Sambi Lokonga added in there. They've got quality. Zaha's only just come back from injury. When he was, killing it last season, he had a brilliant one. Scored his most goals from open play last season. I think his most goals overall. So Elise, they've got talents. They've got real good players in there. Gay and Anderson should be doing better with them. They're strong defenders who very good on the ball and can play at the back and very good in the air and whatnot. Tyreek Mitchell, I don't think he's as good as a lot of people thought initially, but defensively is amazing. Bit like the left back version of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It leaves a little bit to be desired going forward, but they've got good players in there, which you should be expecting better in terms of performance levels, because you have seen it in spits and spurts with, drawing against Manchester United. That second half was brilliant from Crystal Palace, going away to Manchester City, scoring 2 goals and whatnot. And they've done it and drawing 0-0 last week against Liverpool. So there are, they can do it, but in these games, you've just got to be performing. And yes, results might not always go your way, especially when you're in a rebuild, but the performance level should not dip below a certain point, and that's the issue at the moment. But massive credit to Aston Villa as well. I've spoken about Palace a little bit. I need to give credit to Aston Villa, because they have done really well of late. They went for a sticky patch where we beat them and Leicester beat them 4-2 because you can see a bit of goals. But Unai Emery has bounced back with 2 clean sheets and 2 wins. And he's doing really well at the moment. And Villa's problem isn't going to be scoring goals with Ollie Watkins, the form that he's in, the players that they've got up there in the attack. John Duran, who a lot of Villa fans have been happy about in his addition. One big loss, though, is Kamara, who was, he was taken off because of the second challenge by Chet Decore. So that will be a huge miss, as they're getting the likes of Diego Carlos returning. So yeah, Aston Villa are a good side, and they're a team to be aware of if they can make a late run into European football. The question will be on their defence. Can their defence hold out? Because they will score goals. That's not an issue. Whereas other teams in and around them, you might say they don't have many goals coming from other areas. The teams above them, should I say, sorry. But it's just about defensively for them. That's their biggest issue. And when we talk about teams that are amazing, my word, Brighton and Hove Albion are a serious team. I thought they were amazing with Graham Potter. If you're a long-time subscriber of this channel as well, you'd know how much I love Graham Potter's Brighton, and how much I love Brighton, and how I think they recruit ever so well, and the players that they've got right there are absolutely amazing. But Roberto De Zerbi has got a different level out of this team, even greater than what Potter done. Potter built the foundations, and now De Zerbi's the one who's building the masterpiece from those foundations, and they're scoring so many goals. They look like a threat. They look like they score at any moment in the attack. The quality they have with Solly March, who's knocking on the door of an England call-up, by the way, and Not many of us will probably think this as Arsenal fans, will we? But it looks like if I'm Gareth Southgate, Solly Marsh deserves a call up on our England right wing side. Anyway, that's an issue for us. We've got so many left wingers, and I'm not sure he will call them up because we've got so many good left wingers that he might try and fit him in on the right. You know, like a Phil Foden as well, who I think he plays better off the left, but he's doing a good job now whilst playing on that right wing. And Saka, yes, no one's getting above Saka for me. No one for England. That's all bias aside in just how he performs in an England shirt, especially on that right. But Solly Marsh is knocking on that door. Someone who adds versatility, can play left, can play right, can play wing back, can play full back, and so much more. And even in the 10, he deserves to be knocking on the door. Mitoma, McAllister, Evan Ferguson, what a baller. Soon little flicks around the corner. His all-round game for an 18-year-old is out of this world. Ridiculous baller right there. Ireland, you've got a striker. Finally, you've got the next Robbie Keane, I will say, for you guys right there. So yeah, serious player, Evan Ferguson right there. Brighton, are they going to make? If Man United do capitulate and they do fall apart, Brighton are probably the team taking it. Like, you probably could get in there. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Do you think Brighton can make it into the top 4? That's big. I think they're definitely making Europe, but do you reckon Brighton can make it into the top 4? So, let me know, guys. As Mr. Westbird, their Brighton quality outfit, massive respect to them. And then as Brighton Magical in this year, says Amy. De Zerbi quality manager, says Mrs. Westbird. Indeed. Football boy in the building. Big up yourself, football boy. Brighton is a good character team. Indeed, football boy. I agree with you in terms of that. In the other games, Vieira needs time and better players. I agree with you there, Mr. Westbird. I do. But then if you're not speaking to Crystal Palace fans, they're starting to lose a bit of patience now. And the questions are there. Maybe they're in their sticky patch that we were under when we had Arteta in his second season as well. Remember that? So if they do ride it out and they do manage to stay in the Premier League, because that's what's at jeopardy right now for Crystal Palace. They can't afford to get relegated. They can't. And the form that they're in is relegation form. Crystal Palace team just ain't good enough, but very young. It's difficult. It's a difficult situation of needing experience now or waiting for growth. Indeed. We, as Arsenal, we could take that risk in a way because, there's only a certain level that we were going to drop to with the players that we had. But a bit like Chelsea, like they're not going to get relegated, but if they ride out this storm and make sure they keep the players that Potter wants and get rid of the ones that he don't, then they will start to progress. And it'll probably help them in the longer term. Yeah, they might, if they sack a Potter or a sack of Vieira, they'll get better. They definitely could get better in the shorter term. If you talk about the next season and the season after that, it might be well worth sticking with these managers. It might be, but it might not be as well. So it's big decisions to be made right there. Let me have a look. Paxton saying no chance that Brighton are going to get in there. Well over Liverpool, hopefully, but we will be there, says Pax. So yeah, I understand. Yeah, maybe I'm overreacting a little bit, but the reason why I'm saying that is because the tiredness for United might kill you, man. It seriously might kill you because you don't have a big squad in anyway. You got quality, like you do have like Rashford. Look at the form he's in and that, but if I see a dip in your performance levels, I know a lot of the mentality is going to be questioned, especially after the Liverpool result. But I'm thinking tiredness could play. Fatigue killed us last season, my bro, and this is an even worse season in terms of how, with the World Cup and that. I always back Brighton to winning my predictions. You can bank on them to win most weeks, and if you're winning most weeks, bro, my bro, that's when they're gonna. If you're winning, you're gonna climb up the table, ain't it? So yeah, they lost to Fulham, and that's probably been a real kick in the teeth, and the reason why De Zerbi was in the stands. They've been very unfortunate in certain games as well. They'd be even further ahead if it weren't for the horrendous VAR decisions against Crystal Palace. Do you know what I mean? Brighton have 3 games in hand too. See, I didn't even know that. How many points are Brighton on? Let's have a look together right now, guys. Let's have a look. Get into this. Brighton are on 38 points, 3 games in hand over Tottenham. My words. Where's Bird? We're talking, Yeah, this is a prop. Brighton. Yeah, Brighton could be top four. That's how, Pack saying no chance, but deep it. If they win their 3 games in hand, they're in the top four. If is a big, win it. That's the big word. If they win, but we'll see, man. Yeah, football boy. Did Liverpool really beat him? United bad? Indeed, they do. The hill I will die on is us finishing top four. Erik ten Hag working miracles. Yeah, he has maybe for how long he's worked miracles to this point, but then he might reality check. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Pulisic getting pressured, playing on a different team so he can get more time on the pitch. Might not get into the USA's men's national team if he stays on Chelsea. Indeed. So he'll have to get rid of those. Pulisic, the LeBron James of soccer. Indeed. Dude, Chelsea is going to be in the top 12. Football boy, I think you're right. I think they might be in the top 12. Love to see Brighton make it. Can you imagine the scenes? I know we probably wouldn't get Caicedo then because he'll probably stay for that Champions League season. But yeah, or if they do sell him, it'd be for ridiculous amounts, even more than they were asking for in January. See, I wouldn't mind Brighton, especially with Spurs all day, every day. We've got a few more games from Saturday and the last game on Sunday as well. So Chelsea winning at Leeds. I can't really say too much for a Chelsea perspective because it's been poor and yeah, eats out that win. Even Todd Burley, he's not the football connoisseur, but he even said it's a result. Leeds disappointing. It's hard. You're not going to take too much damage from that as a Leeds fan if you're looking at it, because it's still early on in a Javi Gracia, but you kind of want to take a point at this current Chelsea team at least, and this is the best opportunity to go to Chelsea and try and get 3 points, you'd say, and they weren't quite good enough to take it. Leeds' problem, it's not even creating chances. Like, they create chances enough to be within top half of the Premier League. They can't score the goals. That's Leeds' problem. They can be excellent in certain games, but they just can't score it. Wolverhampton Wanderers against Spurs. I watched this game, a match of the day, and this is where I would love it if Ed was here now, but he would be watching this back tomorrow. J-Lo is the man. Half time, they were shocking. I saw it a lot. I was listening to quite a few Wolves fans at the time. Spurs should have been 1-0 up at least by half time with the amount of chances that they were getting. But then that tactical change that he made to match Spurs and go to the wing backs and then bring on Adama Traore changed that second half. And Wolves were much better and a much more threatening team in that second half. And Wolves, excellent. J-Lo is the man. This is why they love him. He's got the charisma to really make the fans fall in love with him, but he's got the tactical awareness as well to manage in these big games. Wolves couldn't. It's about survival at this point in this season, but with the rejuvenation of this team and building and with J-Lo at the helm, Wolves could be back. They could be back in and around those positions where Brighton, where your Brentfords, where your Fulhams are as well next season if they make the right decisions. So yeah, the future's looking bright for Wolves with how they're doing and how the manager is. Massive credit to them. They're through this difficult moment just about staying in the league, but they're getting the wins. They're looking formidable at home as well. I know they lost to Bournemouth at home. We know, guys, that we were very close to even not beating Bournemouth at the top of the league, but those games happen, especially when you haven't quite got your team yet. But Liverpool 3-0, Spurs, yeah, very good team, very, very good team. But on Spurs, you cannot be going to Wolves and not getting a result in the Premier League if you're trying to get top four. I always said when it was Arsenal, when we were fighting for top four, if you can average 4 points every 2 games, so yeah, if every 2 games you average 4 points, you win your home games, you draw your away games on average, yeah, you will get into the top 4. That's good enough to get into the top 4. I mean, before that's good enough to win leagues, but in this difficult Premier League, see how difficult the Premier League is now. 4 points every 2 games. That's what you're gonna have to do. And at the moment, Spurs they're doing less than that. They're doing 3 points every 2 games, and and I'm worrying for them. They are holding that position now, but that's with a lot more games played than with teams ahead of them. So yeah, there's still a long way to go. Spurs, they can always score goals with Harry Kane, and if Son when he hits his purple patch, and Kulusevski, they've got the quality there, but the team cohesion is horrendous right now. They've got the quality, but the cohesion's not quite there. And that's why Spurs, their top 4 spot is in danger. Southampton with a huge win against Leicester yesterday. That is massive. And I'm really loving this relegation battle right now because it's so hard to predict. Guys, who do you think's getting relegated? Because it keeps changing on a week-by-week basis. As Mr. Wesbird spoke about West Ham, I didn't even speak about them, actually. My apologies, I forgot. They look doomed. Imagine from last week, they win 4-0 against Forest. I thought that was the game where David Moyes was going to get sacked. And then they surprised me with a 4-0 win. And then look at this today. I mean, the football, man, you cannot predict it. It's so hard. It's like this Premier League season in down at the bottom, it's ridiculous. I don't know what's happening. And then for the final game of this Premier League weekend was the Nottingham Forest 2, Everton 2. Didn't manage to watch it. Saw the highlights. Brennan Johnson literally carried them through this game. Sean Dyche is going to be heartbroken that he's not been able to go to his former side in Nottingham Forest. And the team he supports, I think, as well. And not be able to get the win. So, when you're down there, and you're going away from home, you're not going to be expected to win many games away from home. But when you've got the opportunity to, Everton, you have to take it. For Everton to score 2 goals at this current moment and not win is almost like a loss, because they're not going to score 2 goals in many other games, especially away from home, let alone at home. Do you know what I mean? So if you're scoring 2 goals, you have to get the win and you have to build upon that. And your foundation and the reason why you will stay up if you do, is through your defense. Not even you scoring goals. You're going to be trying to win 1-0s, 2-1s, keeping it tight at the back. But yeah, that's the issue. Nottingham Forest, it's a bit sticky, man. They're the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the Premier League. One week they're amazing, next week they get smashed, and then it's going to be an interesting end to the season for a lot of these teams. Let's see what you guys and girls are saying in the comments before we wrap up on this Sunday evening. Let's see what we're saying. We've got plenty of you in the chat. Big up each and every one of you who stayed throughout, who's coming at any point. You know what, my brother Paxton, I want you guys to show some love to Pax, because it's in a difficult moment. He ain't hiding, and he's still here, and he's still showing love to the channel. And this is why I big up each and every one of you. And I love you all. Honestly, man, you are the best. Let's go Fulham FC tomorrow. Brentford, yes, that's tomorrow. We will, we're a massive game. It will be interesting. That will be on whilst we're doing the Arsenal show, of course. Nottingham Forest is improving better than Everton by far. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, they are improving. I do see that. Najafi want Everton over Spurs now. Do they? Oh, is that the owners? Is that what they want? Interesting. They probably just see more potential in Everton to make a difference, with the fan base, the area. I mean, the area is never a problem, but in money, and it'll be cheaper to get them and easy to invest. And, you can invest as the money that you buy Everton with, the money you save, you can just invest that straight into them and take them up to the level of Spurs, if not higher, and generate a lot more revenue as well. So it makes a good business decision. Big up yourself, Amy, for bringing that there. Deadhampton actually beat Jekyll and Hyde Leicester. They're in packs. What is it with the East Midlands teams, my brother? You got Nottingham Forest and you got Leicester, who are both Jekyll and Hyde teams. Crazy. So, hey, stop putting these allegations out there. T worried about Spurs losing. # classic Spurs fan. I did say worrying, didn't I? Yeah, you caught me. Big up, my brother. Good result for Southampton. Think they will go down though. Yeah. It's certain. I do think they will go down as well, Mr. Wesbird. They're another team that are horrible. Like when we play them at home, we'll be expecting, you know what? Southampton, roll them over. See you later. But we might have another Bournemouth on our hands where it will be a tense one, especially towards the end of the season. No easy games. we forget about these title races. I mean, we don't forget about them because we saw Liverpool and Man City go at it head to head, and we struggled. And I mean, they struggled to get over the line in certain games. And yeah, it was mad. It was crazy. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Hey, big up that. Big up my brother Luke right there. Guys, I am going to wrap this up here because I'm about to got ready for bed, and you know, mom's going to bed as well, man. So yeah, everyone in the house is going to sleep. So now, build each and every one of yourselves. Love to you all. Thank you for tuning in for this Premier League review show. I will be bringing you the Arsenal show tomorrow. That'll be a call-in based show. So yeah, if you wanna call in at that time tomorrow, feel free, Arsenal fans. And then I promise you, I will be bringing you a call-in show at some point this week for all of the fans to come in and have their say as well. Whether you want to join in the comments, we'll bring up your comments too. But if you want to give us a call in, stay tuned on the socials for that right there. You can find me on Twitter if you prefer, Instagram at Tereak_talks. On Twitter, if you just type in Tereak Talks, all one word, you'll be able to find it. Yeah, just type Tereak and you'll be able to find me in most places as well. Gonna get the TikTok on the go as well, people. That should be a good way for us to find many more like-minded people like us and grow the family and the community. Something that I need to work on and do. I'm a bit old-fashioned, you know what I mean? Like I'm slow to these social media, this social media game. So yeah, it will be good if I can get on TikTok and get content posted out on there. But guys, I'm gonna love and leave you now. I hope you have a good rest of your night and take care. We are top of the league. Say we are top of the league.